Welcome to Conference Crunch on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. Welcome to Conference Crunch on the 4-Star Sports Media Network. This fast-paced deep dive into college athletics covers it all. Now, your host, Wes Pruitt.
What's going on, folks? Wes Pruitt, 4-Star Sports Media. As like she just said, you're sitting down at Conference Crunch. It's the fastest 45 minutes in sports coverage, folks. We're about to dive into 7 different conferences across the country. Technically, we could touch on 8 if you want to include the GAC, which is winding down their season. I know Blake Hogue is right there in the backyard of the Boll Weevils from Arkansas, Monticello. But welcome to Conference Crunch. As you can see there in the middle, that is freshly bald John Sturdivant there in the middle. And then that's Blake Hogue there on the right as John literally puts his head into the damn camera. Holy hell. Welcome to the show. For those of you who are watching for the first time, we're 4-Star Sports Media. We provide a professional and stat-driven sports coverage. We also do it from a fan perspective as well. I mean, I don't want to sit there and say we're not fans because we are. But this show is just a compilation of all the conferences that we are on their media distribution list, which is all of them. So it's just a way to take all that information and slap it together and then also talk ball. So let's go ahead and get started. Before we do that, let me get to each one of you guys, John and Blake. John, I know you were in Birmingham. You were down there. We're going to talk about that. Calm down. We're going to talk about that game here in a little bit. I can see the steam coming off this man's head. It's freshly shaved, like I said. So, we'll talk about that in a minute. But, John, what was your overall thoughts of Week 8 in college football?
Anybody starting any given Saturday, which we can get more in depth later, or maybe Memphis game. I'll save my energy until I watch more film on the game later in the week. But you might be anybody on a given Saturday. Good to see some people back on the winning road side of football too, and some people are still questioning the play calling as well on this past Saturday regarding college football, and you saw some teams that were making a statement also that they have not forgotten yet. So, which I'll dig into here in a minute. But yeah.
All right. I don't know if it's just me, but John, you sound like Kane, the professional wrestler, when he had the little throat thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. But Blake, what about you, man?
Yeah, that was a good comparison, Wes. But yeah, I think it was just upset Saturday. We saw starting Friday with number 2 Miami going down, and then that continued on into Saturday. That was a reflection of the AP poll, as there's 24 spots that change from last week. So it was a lot of movement this Saturday. A lot of teams kind of play their way out of the college football playoff.
John, I can't lie to you. That almost felt like a little bit of a slick little stab there at Memphis. Maybe I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But John, I know one thing, and that is this:
I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Took a minute there. It took a minute there. I didn't think he was going to say it. All right, let's start off with some hot topics. Let's start with coaching carousels. We're going to get into it when we talk stock market, coaches up and down, right? But John, it's starting to spin, and I don't know about you, buddy, but I'm starting to get a little bit dizzy because it's spinning at a really fast rate week to week. So 2 coaches get let go. Yes, folks, Norvell is out. It's just not the Norvell from Tallahassee yet. John, you and I have had conversations about Tallahassee off record. But John, start there, man. Coaches carousel. It's a hot topic right now. I think we're going to see more potentially into the week. As we saw Billy Napier get let go today, we saw Jay Norvell, who was actually let go last night. We've seen video of of Strickland not even approaching Billy Napier after a win. By the way, they beat Mississippi State now, albeit Mississippi State is 0-16 in their last 16 SEC games. By the way, and that's another coach that I think seats starting to get a little warm. We'll talk about that later. Like I said, John, when you look at coaches carousel, are there any surprises so far in maybe someone who has not gotten fired?
No surprises for me at all. All of them are kind of expected, to be honest with you. Brought up Jay Norvell from Colorado State. Let's be real, I thought he should have been fired last year. I thought, or after them going for 2-point conversion against UTSA, and it was in that game at home. He did. They should have been fired after that game. But no surprise to me at all, to be honest with you. Yeah.
It's a good point, man. It's a very good point about Jay. And here's the thing. I like Jay Norvell. I really do. I like Jay Norvell. I think he did as good as you can do at Colorado State. Honestly. But Blake, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not surprised yet. I think Hugh Freeze and Mike Norvell will probably be next to get fired. Stoops, I think at Kentucky, he's got too big of a buyout for them to afford to fire him. But the coaches that have been let go, I think you kind of expected it. If their season did not go as well as hopefully expected.
You look around the country, you look at these buyouts, and that's actually part of the hot topic. Part of this hot topic is, first off, why are we allowing Jimmy Sexton to have like 95 freaking coaches as a? I mean, I understand he's an agent, I get it, right? But come on, if you're the rest of the agents, are you not pissed off that it's Jimmy Sexton every single time? And if you also look at all these coaches who have Jimmy Sexton as an agent, they all have massive buyouts. Massive buyouts. Blake just talked about it. Mike Norvell has a massive buyout down in Tallahassee. It's very interesting. All right. Topic number 2 for Hot Topics is this. We saw a lot of teams that were unbeaten fall. We saw some teams that were top 25 fall. We talked about it last week. We talked about it a few weeks ago, too. When are we going to start seeing a more consistent ranking scale and do away? I understand we can use the AP Top 25 preseason week 1. Following that, let's go based on games played. Because there's a lot of teams that are ranked in the top 25 that shouldn't be ranked in the top 25 week in, week out. But we saw a massive shakeup this week. Would you rather be just on the outside looking in every single week and then wait for a team to lose and then pop in? Or would you rather be one of those teams that's in it, loses, and then now is stuck on the outside looking in? Does that make sense? Blake, I'll start with you.
I mean, you look at the AP poll, the beginning of the year AP poll, those rankings are just based off of perception, not really results, and now even the AP poll now, I mean, you could, Josh Pate, he has he hates the AP poll, and I do too. I think we should wait until they release that first college football playoff poll, because you have a good a good resume of teams that have played and can really get a sense of who the actual top 25 actually are, compared to just a guess with that week 1, week 2, week 3. Because the beginning weeks, you're more likely paying somebody $1 million, to come into your stadium and get beat. So it's not a true reflection. I mean, it's the AP poll now, and what week 6, week 7, whatever we're in, is a better reflection than it is for the week 1 poll. But I think they should wait. That first college football playoff poll should be the first rankings that they have.
John, what about you?
Outside looking in, just because a lot of people basically just throw like Cincinnati out there. For example, Cincinnati's 5-1 right now after beating or after their only loss being Nebraska early on in the season. I think that's one reason I think outside looking in, because Cincinnati is getting so many votes now from AP voters because they predicted the finish toward the last this year again in the Big 12. So I think outside looking in is pretty much a good shot. But also, like Blake brought up and you brought up, preseason rankings don't mean jack squat to me, especially anymore. Florida State started the year, 8th in the country, all because they might resign some 5 stars and 4 stars on their roster. That's how I feel like they do these preseason rankings ahead of time.
It's a good point. Now, we brought up a couple weeks ago, we were talking about parity in college football, right? And I still think there is. But I do want to look at something. Because the hot topic, especially where John is in Memphis, was college game day this week. Where was it going to be? Now, a lot of people blame Memphis. Oh, well, Memphis lost, so they ruined the chance for game day to come. But I want to look at the game day because there's people out there that track it. So week 0, they didn't do a game, right? Week 1 was SEC at Big Ten. Week 2 was Big Ten at SEC. Week 3 was SEC at SEC. Week 4 was SEC at ACC. Week 5 was Big Ten at Big Ten. Week 6, SEC at SEC. Week 7 was an all Big Ten matchup. And week 8 and week 9, because we now know what it is this upcoming week, are both SEC at SEC matchup. In years past, we've seen more variety. And when I use the word variety, I'm talking about like Memphis, SMU. They went down to South Florida. They went to James Madison. They've gone to different programs, different games across the country. My question is this. We see a lack of representation and I understand a lot of people don't give a shit about the group of 6, but they're still there, right? And there's still good football being played at that level. And it's not a different level. That's the thing. That's where everybody's like, oh, it's a different level. It's really not a different level. You're all on the same level. It's just a different tier, essentially. But we see a lack of representation. But look at what the nation is seeing week in, week out. There's no representation being shown on campuses that are non-Power 4. So my question is this, guys. Do you think that this is becoming, I'll use the word, an issue because of a narrative that is being pushed? Blake, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I think it could be an issue. It could be more of a distraction, I guess, for the teams that possibly could get game day. The smaller teams. Game day likes to go to the small schools. Once or twice a year. They like to, they like to see these small college towns and how these towns support these small teams. So I know you just read off that list. It's all pretty much Power 4 teams that get a game day show from their campus or from their games. So yeah, I wish game day would go to those smaller schools, and I know you spoke on this before, the OBU and uh, not is it Henderson? No, I don't.
Yeah, Battle of the Ravine,
Yeah,
Henderson
yeah,
State and
Battle Ravine.
Wichita Baptist.
Yes,
And I'm gonna do it this year. I've been doing it for the last Blake, 4 or 5 years now.
yeah.
They
hmm
need to go. I don't care what anybody tells me. They need to go. They need to. That is worth the trip. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're good. Yeah, I mean it is because literally the teams walk to the stadium. Because I mean that's how close they are. But yeah, I wish. I hate that it's always these big time schools that get game day, and this week's a little different because it's Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's a top 10 team, first time in a long time, and there's kind of a storyline behind it. But sometimes, they're always going to go to Georgia, they're always going to go to Alabama, always going to go to Tennessee. It's kind of getting a rinse, wash, and repeat with game day.
It is, and that's just that just kind of hurts my heart a little bit. I mean, just as someone who literally, I mean, all three of us have grown up watching college game day on Saturday morning. It's just what you did. And I don't know, man. John, what's your thoughts? And I'm glad I brought this up for a reason because Blake's a pro SEC. I'm not saying Blake's a non group of six, but Blake
Yeah.
leans towards the SEC way, and John may lean towards the group of six way. So that's why I wanted to bring this up with everyone in the room. Go ahead, John.
Like absolutely nailed it. Like I already said exactly the same word I was going to say, but I want to see more. Either bring some more FCS teams on college game day because think about it, really nobody really pays attention to the FCS until the playoffs per se. Like I watch it, because it's on TV on ESPN Plus or ESPN2. But if there's like a Ivy League game out there that's like 4-2 team versus a 4-1 team in Ivy League, why don't go to that? I know they've done it like Yale versus Howard like years ago, or whatever. But what's wrong going to FCS schools? What's wrong with going to like a UT Martin the way they've been playing lately, the last three ball games? What's wrong with going to Tennessee Tech? So they're in the top 25 right now in the FCS. What is wrong with showcasing the FCS talents? That's what I want to see going forward to college game day. To be honest with you, I'm like I'm tired of seeing SEC 1 week and then the week after, 2 weeks later, you're back in the SEC market again. To be honest with you, I am getting tired of that. I know it's good for environments and whatnot, but the way that the SES market right now is, and they're showcasing a lot of talent at the SES level that we never even seen before last couple of years. I think that's one reason you guys show a little bit of love to the SES level as well.
John with a standing ovation answer right. Damn, son. The boy just right there. I love it. John, let me
It's
try to
research, but still, man, like, come on. Think about it, guys.
back in. You just sound like Kane with the neck thing, and I'm just trying to fix it for you. So jump out and then come back in. I promise I will bring you back in the room, of course. But jump out and jump back in. See if you can hook up headphones. I don't know. You sound very scratchy, and I'm just doing it for you. But no, great. John had an incredible point right there, Blake. He's right. There's not a lot of parity when it comes to it. All right, man. Let's go ahead and jump on a plane. Let's head over to Southwest Airlines. Let's do a scoreboard flyover as we look across the country at numerous teams. And let's start with the ACC. We saw Friday night football action. We saw number 2 Miami fall to Louisville 24-21. We saw California knock off North Carolina, the Fighting Bill Belichick's 21-18. Bill Belichick has still not defeated a Power Four program. You look across these different conferences, Blake. What's your thoughts on the ACC as a whole? I think it's a conference that right now you look at a team like, for example, Georgia Tech. They keep winning. They can stand to lose a game, still make conference championship, and have potentially make the college football playoff.
Yeah, I mean, the teams in ACC are not the best, I will say, but it's going to be an exciting conference to see who actually wins. Georgia Tech's kind of dominating right now. Miami just lost, and Clemson's down this year. They lost this past week to SMU, and then Florida State's obviously down. They're 0-4 in conference right now. So it's Georgia's Tech's to lose, but kind of how football is this year. They potentially could slip up. Every team is going to have a game this year that they don't perform to their expectations, and so I hope it doesn't happen because I like Coach Key down there at Georgia Tech. But yeah, the ACC is it's down, but I think it's going to be exciting next couple weeks to see who actually can stay alive.
All right, Blake. So within the ACC this week, what's the team that stood out to you with their play?
Yeah, obviously, I hate to be the obvious one here, but to me, it is Louisville or Louisville, however you want to say it. I know people say it two different ways, but Miami the past couple of years they have just slipped up and played. They get beat by teams they should not get beat by. And Carson Beck throwing those 4 picks obviously does not help. But that's who you wanted in the transfer portal. That's who you trusted. So you kind of have to trust him. I don't like Beck throwing his receiver under the bus and then driving it over and over again with his post game comments about his receiver. But Louisville, Georgia Tech, all those teams, Miami. I think that's going to be your kind of 3-team race right there. Obviously not Florida State. They should obviously get rid of their coach, but I don't know if it's going to happen due to the buyouts and whatnot. Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Survive!
Johnny boy.
Got to survive. Hey, John Sturman's back. Sturt, ACC. He's got headphones on too. Sturt, ACC. Give me your team that stood out to you this week.
Blake took one of mine, but other than, to be honest with you, I was going to say Georgia Tech over Duke, but I'm doing disappointment. How's that sound, Wes? But my disappointment, Boston College, Bill O'Brien, maybe he's on the hot seat going forward. But man, it's getting ugly in Boston College right now. They're 1-6 overall, losing to UConn 38-23. So honestly, disappointment that stood out to me this week.
Okay. I like that. All right, man. Let's jump over to the Big 12 real quick. Interesting matchups. We saw Arizona State knock off Texas Tech 26-22. We saw BYU get a big win 24-21 over Utah. We saw Cincinnati I say big win. Cincinnati with a big win as far as blowing a team out 49-17 over Oklahoma State. Houston, that game was incredible. I don't know if anybody happened to catch that game, but that game was really intense. 31-28 as the Cougs continue to play well under Willie Fritz. TCU got a big win over Baylor 42-36, and UCF continues to just – I thought Rich Rod, you look at coaches that come back, and it's just not good, man. 45-13 win for Central Florida. John, we'll start with you, man. When you look at the Big 12, what's a team that stood out?
Dillingham said, "Not so fast. Do not count on my Arizona State Sun Devils beating Texas Tech. The $1 billion NIL budget that they have, 26-22, Arizona State." But it was good to see Sam Levitt back on the field as well for Arizona State. Um, threw the ball 47 times for a whopping 319 passing yards. But the thing that stood out to me was Arizona State pretty much 6 of 16 on third downs. That Texas Tech was 9 of 21 on offense for Arizona State. So Kate Dillingham's the Arizona State Sun Devils were like, do not forget about us. We still going to fight for that Big 12 championship race going forward.
It's a good point. It's a good point. Blake, what about you?
Mine is the I'm not going to say the nickname for them, but mine is BYU. They're 7-0 on the season. Had a huge win against Utah in the Holy War, or whatever the correct name is for it now. You know, the PC name. But yeah, mine is BYU.
I don't care what
Yeah. Yeah, BYU impressed me the most. You know, just going against Utah. It's ranked a matchup. Now they're 7-0. Could be a sleeper in the college football playoff picture coming up. Whenever those get released, next couple weeks. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where they actually end up in the CFP.
Yeah, CFP rankings are coming up, I believe, this week, next week. It's coming up. We'll be on the calls as well right here at 4-Star Sports Media. Let's go to the Big Ten real quick, fellas. Friday night action, we saw Nebraska continue their streak of losing to top 25 teams. I believe they are now, and correct me if I'm wrong, I believe they're now 0-26, 0-22. They're in the 20s, I know. Against top 25 team, or as a top 25 team, Nebraska 24-6 loss to Minnesota on Friday night. Row the freaking boat, PJ Fleck. That's a name that folks better not sleep on for these openings. But then we saw Wisconsin. Luke Fickell, man, he wears the word team on the back of his shirt. And his team is getting beat week in, week out. Absolutely wild to me how they can just continue to get slaughtered week in, week out. 34-0. They were blanked by Ohio State. Indiana, big win over Michigan State as Kurt Cignetti continues to prove that you can win at Indiana, which is impressive. Now, keep in mind, Tom Allen also won there previously prior to Cignetti coming in. But big win all the way across the league. There's impressive wins. Northwestern got a 19-0 win over Purdue. And the reason I bring this game up is, and I bring it up specifically, because we saw the return of Pat Fitzgerald, who was coming back as they were honoring the team that he played on back in the day. John, when you look at the Big Ten, what's the team that stood out for you in Week 8?
Western 19, Purdue 0. I know Barry Odom and company are now 2-5, but just the history of Northwestern football, they're a few wins away, or they're one win away now from being bowl eligible at 5-2. But think about it, man. If they can have like 8 or 9 wins this year after what happened the last 2 years, I'll be happy. I mean, it's obviously good to see Northwestern go to maybe a decent bowl tie-in for the Big Ten. So Northwestern 19, Purdue 0.
That's true. That's true. John, I don't know what you're doing with your voice, but I think we need to keep it because I like it. The longer the show goes on, I think this just make it your stick. You know, like some folks are assholes on air. Some folks just give stupid hot takes. Some folks don't know anything. Some folks don't do research and they get behind a microphone. John, we just need to keep your voice like this. We can just start calling you the Kane of 4-star. By God, that's gotta be Kane. But John, no, but seriously, you're bringing your information tonight is on point, man. You are just, I don't know what the Pat McAfee does, the hammer down or whatever. John is just slamming facts on the table tonight, and I'm loving it, man. And the voice, like I said, man, the longer it goes, started to grow on me. But yeah, no, good point, John. Good point. Blake, when you look at the Big Ten, who stands out to you?
Mine is I guess the team no one really talks about is the defending national champions, Ohio State Buckeyes. I mean, they just keep winning, keep shutting people out. And according to my quick math here, they have allowed only 41 points this year. And then I guess it's average is about 6 points a game that this defense is giving up. And looking at their schedule, they got Penn State, Purdue, UCLA coming up. So yeah, I just think Ohio State's just going to keep winning by 30 points, and no one's going to talk about them. And that's how Ryan Day likes it.
100%, man. And great point on the defense. Entering this week, they averaged 6.8 points allowed on defense. Prior to the game recently, had that, I can't remember who they played
Wisconsin.
last week, but prior to Illinois scoring 16 on them, they were only averaging like 5 points a game. So, very, very interesting stuff. Great point there. Mine has got to be, it's got to be the UCLA Bruins. How this team, and I mean, when we get to the American, I want to bring up another team. Never mind. All right, so it's got to be UCLA, man. Big win again as they kick a field goal, knock off the Terps. Guys, I don't know if you've looked at the standings across the Big Ten, but UCLA is just kind of lingering like a fart. And all they're doing is waiting on teams to keep dropping, and they're just going to keep on sneaking up. I love to see it, man. I really do. Shout out UCLA. Skipper doing an amazing job with that conference. All right, let's go to the SEC real quick. The crap load of games. We don't have to go over all the games because I know there's a lot. But Blake, I'll start with you. Who you got, man? SEC game that stood out to you this week?
Mine would have to be Alabama getting that victory over Tennessee. That pick six right before half kind of changed the momentum in that game. But Alabama's schedule the past 3 weeks has just been brutal with just ranked team after ranked team after ranked team. And, beginning the season losing to Florida State, which looking back at it, how the hell did that happen? But it did. So a lot of people wrote Bama off after week 1, but they're just Ty Simpson's. He's a Heisman contender now. He's probably the best quarterback in the SEC right now. So Alabama was the team that kind of impressed me the most.
I told John after that game, I felt bad. You go back and roll the tape back. I told John, I feel bad for the rest of the teams on this Alabama schedule because I told him I felt like that pissed them off. Obviously, it did. Kellen DeBoer is 15-2 against top 25 opponents. By the way, folks, 15-2. Alabama don't care where they play. I would love to see a football game on in Australia. Go play on one of those Australian rules football stadiums. Go play in Perth. Send Bama over there. And let them play God, yeah. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Send Bam over there, and then send Bill Belichick in North Carolina. And then on the way there, create some just wild storyline because you know it's going to happen because national media has to pull something. Create some storyline, just piss off Alabama and just let them beat the brakes off North Carolina. I think folks would tune in. As long as Kellen DeBoer wears a black hoodie, Alabama fans are happy. But Blake, great point. Great point right there. John, what about you, man?
To Blake's point regarding Tennessee Bama game was great. Alabama's offensive line been playing lately too. 0 sacks allowed yesterday against
And that's what happens when you're live, folks. That is what happens when you're live. Things just happen. There's no net. You just gotta keep on rolling, don't you, Blake? Blake
That's
understands.
right.
He lives in South
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas.
Oh yeah,
He
I
lives in
understand.
Arkansas. He gets it. He gets it. All right, let's get Sturd back in here. All right, Sturd, you were saying something and then you cut out. I mean, like when I say cut out, you just completely went away. Let's try this one more time. John, when you look at the SEC, what stood out to you? I think you were talking about Blake's point with the Tennessee game.
I
Go
was
ahead.
still I was Blake skip Alabama's offensive line a lot of credit as well last few games because they had 0 sacks allowed against Tennessee, and we know Tennessee likes to put pressure on quarterbacks. So Alabama's offensive line definitely deserves a lot of credit as well for the last few ball games. But game that stood out to me was Ole Miss Georgia. I really thought, to be honest with you, did very well. Maybe it could have been a low scoring game because I thought the way that Georgia has been on the offense lately, their down conversion that has not been really that good. But for Ole Miss to score 35 points into Athens with a good quarterback play, so that's what stood out to me was Ole Miss on offense stood out to me pretty well. But let's be real, if Georgia has a good running game in the second half like they did yesterday, Georgia's still very well could go back to the SEC championship game and maybe surprise people still in the SEC. But credit Kirby Smart's defense, 17-0, shut out Ole Miss in that fourth quarter. And it's good to see Lane Kiffin on game day back from a backyard or look at somebody's house mansion from crying out loud in Athens yesterday on game day with him and smile also. How awesome was that, y'all?
I thoroughly enjoyed watching Lane Kiffin. I don't know. Someone around him said something and it threw him off. It was really fun to watch him just kind of get flustered a little bit. But man, speaking of Lane Kiffin, speaking of Georgia, when that referee came over and Lane looked at him and said, "I was just clapping." Let me just tell you something. John, what is going on? John's gone again. I don't know what is going on. John is just that boy's having some major internet. It's like John moved to South Arkansas tonight. It's wild. It's crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
when Lane started doing this right here, and then he told the ref, he put the arm around the ref and told him I was just clapping. I mean, come on, man. I mean, does it get any better than that? Does it get
Yeah.
any better than just watching Lane Kiffin
Uh,
be absolutely savage as he can be? John's back. John is having some connectivity issues
mhm.
tonight. What's going on with
Yeah.
John over there?
I
John,
will
what's
say,
going on? You got did the National Guard jack up your damn internet or something in Memphis? Like, what the hell's happening over there? What
throwing
what
his
what,
hand.
what is going on? What is going on, man? Geez, I know he's throwing his hands up. He's all delayed tonight. I don't know. It's crazy. I've never seen John have internet issues like this, and we've been doing this for 5 freaking years. I've never seen this man have internet issues like this ever. It's the wildest thing ever. It's really throwing me off. It's crazy. John's normally like way faster than I am, and now I'm like, it's nuts. All right. But yeah, to your point, Blake. What Lane's amazing. My game.
55 minutes, I guess.
I have no idea what he just said. All right, my game is Missouri Auburn. I've gone on record as saying I believe. This is just my thoughts. Okay, this is my opinion. Okay, we can do that in 2025. We can have opinions; they can be different. My thought is that Eli Drinkowitz is going to be the head coach of the Arkansas Razorbacks next year. That's my thoughts. And it was really refreshing to watch him run out. Hold on, wait. I got to do the fist bump. Boom. Hit the fist pump. Run out about 60 freaking yards. And then look over like I do when I try to figure out what damn gas pump I'm at. And then realize that they missed the field goal and then turn around and run back like one of those little monkey animal things that just bounce back and forth when they run back to the sideline. I have to tell you, and I mentioned on my personal page, Facebook page, that this game had a lot riding on it for the coaches because I feel like Eli is going to get offers. Now, he can say that whoever did an interview or whatever, you can say what you want. I don't care. I'll be honest with you. After I listened to John Calipari spew complete bullshit to Memphis fans, I don't believe what any coach says. Between that and Mike Norvell, I ain't listening. You can say what you want. I don't care. Your sister's ass. When it happens, it happens. But what a game. Missouri Auburn, Hugh Freeze, 2 overtimes. That boy looks lost as a baby in a topless bar on the sideline trying to coach a football team. I feel bad. I feel bad for Auburn fans. I do. Because that team's got talent. That team's got real talent. And between that game and the Texas A&M Arkansas game yesterday, I've never seen more Arkansas fans accept one-score losses now all of a sudden that I've never seen it before in my life. They're like, oh, it's okay. It's okay. We lost by 3 to the number 4 team. It's okay. But just 5 weeks ago, it was like, please get him out. Look at this. This man is just, wow, this is crazy. Sorry. For those of you watching live, John is jumping in and out.
He was frozen for about 5 minutes.
Yeah. John's jumping in and out, man. So by the way, for those of you that don't know, John lives in Memphis, Tennessee. So John, the odds of John having connection issues, for me anyway, is very slim. This is wild. Blake and I have never seen this before. This show's been going 45 minutes, and we're just now in the SEC, by the way. We still got 3 more conferences to go. It don't matter. It's freaking Sunday night. Appreciate everybody watching and listening, by the way. We got a nice little crowd watching and listening over on the socials. What are the socials, you may ask? Did I hear you say that? I thought I heard somebody ask, what are the socials? So head over to Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. It's the most toxic place in the world. If you've never been to Twitter, it's wild. John just sent a message. I'm not even going to read that online. All right. So, God, I want to read that so bad. That's so funny. Twitter's the most toxic place in the world. If you're looking for negativity and you love negativity and you thrive in it, Twitter's your place to be. But while you're there, type in 4-Star Sports M and we pull up, and then you can watch and listen to shows, read articles, do all that. You can watch Blake as he talked to Arkansas Razorbacks, as I'm sure he's got a lot to say about this 45-42, another 1-score loss from Arkansas. But we'll get to that comment that just popped up here shortly. But, SEC, wild stuff this week for sure. All right, now let's jump over to the American. because I want to. John is back and he is on his phone, by the way, folks. Just giving you a forewarning. The angle's a little different. Uh, Wham! There he is. All right, so let's get to the American. John, I'll start with you. Now I know you were in Birmingham. I want to talk about that game in a minute, but let's start with the American, John. What game stood out to you this weekend or yesterday? Go ahead, John. All right, Blake, let's jump over to you while John tries to figure out exactly what's going on. This is the wildest, damnedest thing I've ever seen. Go ahead, Blake. John, we'll come back to you after this. Hold on. Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, I just think I don't know if Memphis was overlooking UAB. Trying to get to that potential game day matchup with South Florida coming up this week. I don't know if it was the new Coach Mortensen at UAB, that kind of fueled the fire behind UAB trying to win. I don't. I know a lot of Memphis fans are upset at Silverfield for reasons that I just think are stupid. Um, I mean, he admitted that he was out coached today, or this past Saturday. So I think he's owning up to his coaching. But my thing is, how can a coach who has never coached a game outcoach Silverfield? Silverfield is a veteran. I just don't. I just, in my opinion, I just think they were looking ahead. Um, oh, Johnny boy.
I don't know if he's back or not. I really don't. I don't. I guess he is. I see him. By God, he's there. All right. And by the way, John, we got a comment for you that somebody sent in. He said, "Get it out, John. This is a safe space." So, John, with that, I go to you. What's your thoughts on the American this week? We're going to talk about Memphis, but what's your thoughts on the American this week?
How UTSA is sucking right now? No, I'm kidding. UTSA is not a good football team right now at all. Um, yeah, North Texas is ready to say, "Hey,
If you want to back up
we."
your camera, keep it moving. It's fine.
North Texas is still having a good season. They're still fighting for that conference title, although they lost to South Florida. So North Texas is like, don't forget about us still. And I guess the way that John Summerall keeps on finding ways to win, right? So let's just give them a shout out. And I am the man says it's my fault for us losing to UAB also, by the way, but it's not.
Well, look, now that we've established that, so by the way, it's not your fault. I talked about it last night on the Tigers Den episode. If you watched it live, you heard it. I haven't posted it to the website. It'll get posted up this evening. Blake, you talked. Silverfield owned up to yesterday. He said he was out. They were out coached as a staff. For those of you that don't know, Memphis had to go hustle up high school film on this quarterback because no one had. There's no college film on this kid. This plus Alex Mortensen as head coach. Obviously, you look around the country and you have teams that have interim coaches. They're playing inspired football. They are, earlier Arkansas lost back to back one score losses. Arkansas is playing with more passion. They're just not winning the close game. John's internet is freaking out. I don't know what he's doing. But when you look at UAB yesterday, have to give them credit. They played inspired football. They made plays. And if you look at Memphis in the fourth quarter, penalties cost them the game. Now, I am the man 246 up here. By the way, thank you for watching and listening and commenting. We do appreciate it. But when he says Silverfield will pay for his crimes with another wasted season, my question or my rebuttal, whatever, is this. How is this season a waste when you're 6-1? I'll say that a different way. How is this season a waste when you just lost your first game of the year? Secondly, how is your season a waste if everything is in front, including the college football playoff? And when you say competing on the big stage, I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. But name me another coach in program history, and I asked this question last night on Tigers Den. Name me another coach in Memphis's program history that has won back-to-back, had back-to-back seasons of 10-plus wins, and is on pace to do that again. Let's not get amnesia. Tough loss, yes. Is it a loss that I think was needed? Yes. And to this comment, I don't know if you heard Silverfield last night. He did not make it seem like Brandon Lewis was lost for the year. And if he is, I saw enough in A.J. Hill that I have confidence for the future. But tough loss, big win for UAB. First time UAB got a top 25 win since 2001, by the way, or 2021, one of the two. I think it was 2021. But Bryant Vincent was the head coach of them, by the way, at that point in time. All right, let's jump over to Conference USA real quick. John, what's your thoughts of CUSA? What's your team that stood out?
Can I say something regarding the Memphis UAB game real quick? Because a lot of people were asking me why Ryan didn't really use AJ
Go
Hill
ahead.
running the football. One, why do you want to take a chance with another quarterback going down? Two, I think AJ Hill did everything like he was supposed to yesterday. He threw the ball away when he was getting pressured. That's probably the worst offensive line performance I've seen all season long from our offensive line from point of view as well. And our defensive line, man, don't get me. I mean, we'll talk about it later in the week, but when you don't put pressure all night long on the 3-down lineman and are not even blitzing the linebacker as well, that's a red flag to me. That's one reason that you probably lost the ball game as well. But Conference USA, I'm just going to say, let's give UTEP. A lot of people were saying, why are you giving UTEP credit? They played Sam Houston. UTEP have had a rough season, so I'm gonna give UTEP good old Scotty Waldron and company another dub in that win column where it could probably help them out down the road a little bit regarding recruiting.
It's a good point, man. It's a good point. And big win by then. 35-17 over Sam Houston. I understand Sam Houston is who they are. I get that. But Blake, what about you?
Yeah, just looking at the scores, it just seems like this conference is going to be the conference that they just kind of beat up on each other. Outside of Sam Houston, obviously, with Liberty getting that 3-point win over New Mexico State, FIU beating up on Western Kentucky. It just kind of seems that everyone outside of Sam Houston probably has a chance to probably win this conference.
Yeah, you look at that FIU win. So you go on the road Western Kentucky's 5-1 at that point in time. And not only do you beat Western Kentucky, but you dominate Western Kentucky. There were 6 of 15 on third down. The Hilltoppers, who I'm talking about here. 341 total yards, 225 on the through the air, 116 on the ground, 5 penalties for 60 yards. You look at it from the FIU perspective, 21 first downs on the night, 7 of 15 on third down, 453 total yards, 204 through the air, 249 on the ground. So you dominate in the trenches and run over the Hilltoppers for a big time win for Florida International. All right, let's jump over to, well, let's see. That's it, boys. That's it. We've gone through all the scores. All right, now, John, let's go do stock market. As we talk about coach's stock going up, coach's stock going down. It's, a lot of, we know whose stocks are going down, right? But maybe John, I don't know. John's been on one tonight with his facts or stats or whatever he's got going on. I don't know. The internet's wigging out. National Guard's there. John's on another level. It's crazy. All right, John, stock up, stock down. Who you got?
My stock down, I'm going to go Derek Mason and the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Yes, they were off this past weekend, but I'm not liking what I'm seeing in Murfreesboro. Quarterback play has not been great all season long. Let's just go with Middle Tennessee, the Blue Raiders, and Derek Mason. I think we wanted Derek Mason to succeed, right, in Middle Tennessee when they got hired. But when you're averaging maybe like 9,000 to 10,000 people in attendance when Rick Stockstill was the football coach and you're averaging 20,000, and then on top of that you got Missouri State beat you the other day, and then you got to play Delaware this week on a short week. So Derek Mason, Middle Tennessee is my stock down. But stock up, you already said it, UCLA, the whole coaching staff at UCLA right now is stock up.
I like it. Mike, what about
My stock up is actually a coach who is not coaching right now. That is James Franklin. With every head coaching job that opens up, his price goes up, And of course, his agent is Jimmy Sexton. But I think with every major coaching job that opens up, his price just keeps going up and up and up. So that's my stock up. My stock down is Coach Beamer at South Carolina. He's getting testy with the reporters down there, especially Jack. I made a change to Jack, but the play calling sucks. But I'm not going to admit that. Okay, it's not Shula's fault. Okay, it's the offensive line's fault. That's why we can't score points. Okay, so I just look for Beamer's. I mean, those fans were booing him in the first quarter. So I just look for the fans to hate him even more. It seems in these next coming weeks.
who you got stock up?
That was Franklin with every
Oh yeah.
every job that
Sorry,
opens
just
up. But
that's a
no,
great
you're
stock
good.
up that I hadn't even really thought about. That it just threw me off. It just kind of flew right by. All right. My stock down's got to be Bill O'Brien, man. I think he's probably one of the next coaches to be let go. I got a couple of stock downs actually. Bill O'Brien and then Mike Norvell. Mike, Mike, Mike. Do you remember 2019 after SMU when you said on ESPN you were a proud Memphian? Then you went on the Chris Vernon show and you gloated. You literally gloated about how you quote, didn't even entertain phone calls from teams. It didn't matter to you. And then you said, quote, Chris, the grass isn't always greener, and I understand that. So let me ask you, Mike, how's the grass in Tallahassee? Is it greener? And if you're Florida State, how do you feel now, considering you were one of the teams that voted on Stanford coming in, but yet you made the statement, and it's in documents because I've read them. Florida State said that they didn't really want, there was pushback on Stanford because they didn't want them to dilute the in-conference scheduling. And if you don't know what the word dilute means, I'll just go Google it, type it in, dilute, D-I-L-L-U-T-E. Simple, very easy, D-I-L-U-T-E, sorry. A very simple word. Well, they diluted, and they're probably about to dilute their pocketbooks because they're about to pay a lot of money for Mike Norvell to go away. And it kind of leads me into what's on the DVR a little bit. It really leads me more into the final topic of the show. But, John, let's go ahead and take a look at what's on the DVR, man. What is on your DVR? Give me a game or two. You got to watch John. John will throw a little honorable mention on you in there pretty quick. John, what you got, man? What's on your DVR for week 9?
My week 9, man. I want to see if Syracuse can bounce back. I really want to see if they can bounce back the way they've been struggling on offense the last couple weeks. Syracuse at Georgia Tech, 11 a.m. So that's one of them. Of course, I'll be in the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, so I won't probably record that game, which, depending on the weather forecast, you might want to record it 2 hours extra if you're actually a DVR person for that game. Because there is like 50% rain chance for that game. Missouri at Vandy, just name those two that have the early kickoffs. But Tennessee plays Kentucky this week, right, guys? So can Tennessee bounce back after a tough game in Tuscaloosa? And of course, the Tennessee-Kentucky rivalry. Kentucky always plays Tennessee pretty well at Kroger Field. So that's my late night 7 o'clock DVR edition for that game.
Late night. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not a late night 11 a.m. kick. Blake, what about you?
Yeah, yes, like John, I will be at the Memphis game this weekend, so I'll be definitely recording some games to watch. But mine would be Ole Miss, Oklahoma. That's going to be like a playoff eliminator kind of a game. Of course, Missouri, Vanderbilt. That's the Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Missouri, Vanderbilt. All those teams are 6-1. So two of those teams will have 2 losses after next Saturday. So it just depends how the CFP works out. Maybe there's not enough 2-loss teams to you know to have in the college football playoff. So those two games will most definitely be on my DVR.
My DVR is loaded with games for next week. Missouri Vanderbilt, it's a top 15 matchup. But we've never said that, by the way, ever. We've never said that Missouri Vanderbilt's a top 15 matchup, unless you're playing college football 26.
And I will say Vanderbilt's not the 15.
Correct.
They're 10.
Correct. That's what makes that statement even more bizarre. So I got a few games, man. UCLA, Indiana. Indiana number 2 in the country. UCLA riding high out in Cali. No pun intended there. South Florida, Memphis. That game obviously has a lot of eyes on it for us here at 4-Star, but it's got a lot of eyes on it for a college football playoff implications. We talked with I Am the Man 642. It's probably not the right numbers. I apologize, Logan. But you look across the country, Alabama, South Carolina. It's a Shula Bowl. Let's not forget where Shula was back in the day. I know a lot of Alabamans probably don't know that or probably don't remember that. You can go to ChatGPT and just quickly type in list of Alabama football coaches, and you're going to see his name pop up. As well as a guy named Mike Price and Dennis Francione. Look into those two names in the Alabama job. It's really interesting. Just a little history for you. What about Starkville, John? 315, Crucnh. As Texas comes to town. As Texas squeaked away with a win on the road at Kentucky. And finally, can Stanford? Will Mario Cristobal have back-to-back fumbles? Will, as Tony Siracusa, the Don of college football, has called him the Instacart coach. He'll let you go buy all the groceries, just don't cook. It's a big loss to Jeff Brom and the Louisville Cardinals over the yesterday or Friday night. Sorry. Can Stanford go on the road, travel all the way across the country? Yet, you don't hear Stanford. I haven't heard Frank Reich complain one time about having to travel across the country and go play teams. Can they get it done? Who knows? But that's why we have what's on the DVR. That way we can
Matt Campbell
give
and
you guys a.
BYU and Iowa State. Don't forget.
Sorry, John. Go ahead. My bad.
No, I was saying don't forget about that BYU Iowa State game. BYU traveling cross country too. That's another game that might be on the upset alert. Because Matt Campbell, November's approaching, and he likes to play for a championship
Great.
in the Big 12.
It's an incredible point. Didn't mean to mute you there, but it's an incredible point. No, as we close, man, great show. We crunched it up. It went long, but it's okay. But from all of us here at 4-Star Sports Media, John Sturbitt, Blake Hope, I'm Wes Pruitt. We'll see you next week as we break down more chaos, as we nibble on more college football. And as always, folks, get up, be kind, and stay classy.